Okay, so now I'll invite David Close to talk about his Elite 30 P-style work.
First of all, I've given a presentation here about 3 or 4 years ago that started a list of 40 with consultation with other P-style VAM experts. The list was narrowed down to 30 and a few of these were changed. I'm going to go through these very quickly. As Alan has posted many times on VAM World, the die is the die. I'm going to go through these where I know of different die sequences. I will post these if anyone wants to begin taking notes. First, 1921 VAM 1A. This exists both in the early die state as shown and later die state with a slightly larger break. I've not seen one of these without the die break. It looks like the policy lines all came later. For historical reasons, the 21 business strikes from both the matte-proof dies and the satin-proof dies were included. The matte-proof dies, VAM 1F. The easiest die markers on the obverse are a series of die scratches as shown here. And on the reverse, a die scratch on the E extending northwest is parallel to the ray.
David, I think there's a pointer up there to your right.
Okay, thank you. Again, in the die sequence, that reverse was changed and paired, so the same obverse is paired to the second reverse, VAM 1G. The terminal die state of VAM 1G has a rim cut here. VAM 1H is probably the most common coin on this list. The easiest die marker on the obverse, a series of single circular lines below the chin. On the reverse, a series of die scratches between states and of. This obverse obverse continuing production, the obverse die was changed. The reverse was paired to a different obverse. That's called VAM 1P. Same reverse, but different obverse. That reverse was then changed with a second obverse and is listed as VAM 1Z in die sequence. 1922, the VAM 1E and 2L were listed as a single category because of the die scratch, which I'll show you shortly. The one reverse has a rounded leaf here, slight separation here, and I believe this one doesn't show it. It only has 2 hills down at the bottom. V2 has a more pointed leaf here. It's attached, the stem is attached to the foot and has 3 small hills down adjacent to the rim. The die scratch is here, just slightly left of the V. This is the only known example of an identifiable obverse die paired with 2 different reverses of 2 different designs. The closest to this would be the 34 double obverse with the large mint mark, small mint mark. VAM 17 is very dramatic, doubled reverse, has doubled wing, tripled leaves. Again, there's doubled wing, but the doubling, unlike the VAM 7, doubling exists. It extends up onto the top of the shoulder. The VAM 15 also has doubling on the wing, but has different doubling, not as dramatic, on the leaves. Of the 3 of those, the VAM 7, 15, and 17, the 17 is the scarcest. The terminal die state of that obverse has a die break on the neck and is called VAM 17A. 22D, the Denver Mint had a lot of issues with die breaks, particularly in 22D, 23D. The first of these on this list is 22D VAM 1M with a retained cut in the date. Here, this area is angulated when you compare it to the field of the rest of it. I've never seen this with a completed cut. It may exist, so keep your eyes open. VAM 2A has a large retained cut, and this area is raised compared to the surrounding field. Again, I've never seen a completed cut. I'd sure like to get one sometime. This is somewhat scarcer than the 1M, and both those are rare in mid-state. VAM 14 and 14A. VAM 14 has a double obverse, very similar to a VAM 10 double obverse. The only die marker for the 14 is a die scratch in the B. Here you see the double rays. And 14A has the die break, which this area is recessed compared to the surrounding field. This one is fairly, I say available, it's not common, it's fairly available in low grade. I only know of one that even approaches mint state. That's our third word holder, so I won't call it uncirculated. The late die state of this one has a retained cut on the reverse. The 1922S, this VAM 10, this originally was listed as a VAM 2.0 for extra ray die polishing. A couple of years ago, a very astute VAMmer recognized a very dramatic ray over the mountain. And as such, it was relisted as VAM 10. There, since then, been several of these discovered, but this is by far and away the most dramatic, and the only one which this ray crosses through over the mountain. VAM 2X, huge cut in the UNI of United. Good luck finding one of these.
So that 2X is kind of saying on the edge because of their experience with 21D VAM 1X.
I know.
So is it findable coin or is it?
I know of about 3.
Oh.
I should rephrase it. Some of them were on the original list. There were not a duplicate known. So again, in consultation with others, everyone on this list has a duplicate. There are about 3 of these known. The early die state with the retained cut, just a die crack, is much more available. VAM 5A, this is the VAM 5 with a doubling of the ray behind the eagle. The rays on the neck, the feathers on the neck and the wing, and the rays to the right of the wing. I'll show you the overpolished die here shortly. The VAM 5 or 5A, the early die state of the VAM 5 double reverse does not have this die gouge. That obverse was changed to one that does have this die gouge. The reverse die was then overpolished, where you see the rays missing in here. That same reverse was then paired with another obverse that does not have that die gouge. So you collect the whole set of those. There's 3 diameters involved with that and 4 die states. The 2023 VAM 1G, this was included because of similarity to the top 50, 1922 1A and 25 1A. Again, a horizontal die gouge in the rays. This one's not particularly rare, so it's nice, and it is, again, it's a nice coin and fits in nicely to anyone collecting, having a top 50 set as well. Now we'll go through the 1923 extra hair varieties. There are 4 of them that the major services will classify will certify as an extra hair. The 23 1B is already in the top 50. The 23 1V, as in Victor, has 2 die breaks. This one and the slightly smaller bullet-shaped die break further to the right in the hair. This is probably the most common, at least in high grade, of the 4 of them. The VAM 1AA the photograph of this was put in the top 50 book. Again, die break here in the lower right part of the hair. Because of the similarity with 1AB, I included an additional die marker of a die crack going through the T on the 1AA. The 1AB, similar die break, slightly up and slightly to the left of the position of the 1AA. Again, this die crack is slightly different position as well. This also has a slight die chip above the TR, and it's hard to see from this photograph, but the edge is slightly beveled, as you can see here. 1923 VAM 8, second to the VAM 2. This is among the strongest of the double I verses in the piece dollar series. This is listed in the Connector Master listing as 102. Has doubling on the trust, particularly on the V, and on R in Liberty. Well, this one you'll need a loop to see, but it's there. If you see it, it's pretty dramatic. 1923, VAM 1E, extra hair. This coin has its own history. This coin was originally listed for a much smaller die break higher up in the hair. The discoverer of the coin showed it to me, and the more obvious die break lower in the hair.
I can even speak to that because when the person discovered it, he was fairly brand new VAMmer and had actually had mentioned the die break, but didn't really know how to explain it to Leroy, so it got overlooked.
The 1923 1H was discovered by me about 10 years ago. At that time, my children were still in grade school, so I showed the coin and said, "What do you name it?" You name it the ponytail. So that's how it got its name. 23 1AZ, again, for those who follow die sequences, this one has a story. This obverse is the same obverse as the early die state of the 1923D VAM 2. This reverse was used first. This reverse die obviously had a huge cut. It was changed. That same obverse was paired with 23 VAM 2, 23D VAM 2. 23D VAM 2 has a second obverse also, but I'm not going to talk about that now. The early die state of the 1AZ is not common, but it's more available than the full cut is. 23S, VAM 1I. This one you may have a chance of finding. It's on the reverse in the letters, and it's only a retained cut. Now this area clearly has elevation as part of the cut, demonstrating a retained cut. This also has a twin clash mark on the shoulders, as shown. 23S, VAM 1W. This is the only extra hair in the 23S. Unlike most die breaks, this one does not arise from a die crack. It's just there. This one also is very scarce, but you may be able to find one because of its position. A dealer may think it's a ding on the board. 24, VAM 1D. I'll mention VAM 1BB also, but I don't have a photograph of that. It's in the book, but I don't have a coin. 24 VAM 1D with a clashed E on the reverse, a partial clashed E. There's only two of these known in the piece dollar series, and the other two that I've listed here, the 24 VAM 1D and the 1BB. This is the stronger of the two. All are scarce. This is the obverse die, showing, again, triple clash marks behind the neck. Strong clashing elsewhere. This is again the 1D. 1924 VAM 1G. This presumably was found by someone who was looking for a 5A. Again, nice die break on the wing. This obverse die was originally listed as a pitted die as a VAM 1AO. It's not clear if either that obverse or the reverse has been paired with a different obverse or with a different mate. So the jury's still out on that one. Here's the die crack. You can get some sense of the feeling of the obverse die. 1924 VAM 1H, extra hair. Again, this was found presumably by someone who was looking for an 8A. You can see an indention in this part of the die as well as the die itself is collapsing. This reverse is significantly overpolished to the point that it was originally listed as a VAM 1Q until it was recognized that that reverse was paired with the die break obverse. And there's an overview of the reverse. You see partial missing ray, strong clash marks here, and it's got polishing marks as well. VAM 11A, again, this another wing break. The discovery coin for this one was sold to the one who eventually submitted as a VAM 5A. This is, it is not a VAM 5A, it's a different die break. And it's much more scarce than the 5A is. And the die marker on the obverse is like die crack, otherwise it doesn't really have any. It's given VAM 11A for a very minor double reverse. VAM 1AA, the broken jaw, or the die break on the jaw, again, is very, very prominent location. So you look at it, there's no question what this is. This one's very rare as well. Thank you. This die also was not going to last very much longer. This is on the 1AA as a radial die crack between the and the Li of Liberty. 1926, VAM 1A, die break at the edge of the wing. Given the low mintage from 25 and up, it's amazing that any die breaks are listed. But nonetheless, this one is. This is a nice one, clearly extends into the field. You don't need a glass for this. What you do need a glass for is to see it extends all the way down in here as well. 26D, VAM 1B. Again, this is extra hair variety. Because it is in the hair, and it's fairly small compared to some of the earlier dates, this one is easy to overlook unless you're specifically looking for it. They're out there. It's a fairly recent discovery, so it's not really clear how rare these are. In high grade, they are pretty rare. Usually you see these in low grade. 26D, VAMs 3B and 3D. These were lumped together because they're very similar, over-polished dies. They're both would be very difficult to attribute, certainly to distinguish from each other in grades, probably less than extra fine. I only know a handful of each of these. This is the 3B. The easiest way to distinguish these is the position of the die crack. This is the 3B. You see dramatic over-polishing here, thin, ingot, and the pellet between them is gone. The diagnostic for both these, by the way, those two over-polished obverses share the same reverse. Diagnostic is the die crack on the reverse here.
A quick question on that one. The two obverse is definitely different, or is one of them, they polish it and so let's just say crap, let's polish it again?
The die crack's different.
Die crack's different?
Die crack's different. I thought that too, and I emailed Leroy, and he quickly responded back, the die crack's in a different place. And since after I found one and was able to happen to see them side by side, then I agree with his conclusion. This is the 1D. Again, the die crack's in a different position. The 3B is over here. 3D is further to the right. I'll mention as well, I've seen a VAM 3D obverse where the reverse die has been changed. So again, a different die marriages, die sequence on that. 1934, VAM 1A, very obvious die scratch. In the left lower quadrant, this actually goes all the way up to the L of Liberty. You take the coin, you shimmy it in the light, and it's easy to see. You don't need glass for this. After this coin is first found, it was thought to be fairly scarce, although several coins have shown up now. Nonetheless, of all of the 34 VAMs which have currently been listed, there's A through F, this is by far and away the most obvious one. I believe that's it. Any questions?